afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Port Authority Board meeting of August 5th, 2019. First order of business is minutes, approval or correction of last meeting's minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second
We have a
it.
motion to approve the minutes.
I'll
We have a second. Thank you, Harry. Hi, Mr. Zachman. We're waiting for you.
Sorry for being late.
Hearing no comments to any corrections, we'll vote on the minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, opposed? Minutes are approved. Comments from the public. Mr. Freeze from the Park Board, good to see you tonight. Do you have anything for us?
No, I pass, thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, moving on. Report from Mr. Frame, the Harbor Master.
All right, this past weekend, of course, was the Great Lakes Grand Prix. The race was slightly different this year in that it was put on by a different race body, meaning it's still the Tourism Bureau, but instead of Superboat International running the race, it was Offshore Powerboat Association. And they had partnered with P1 Racing and also P1 Aquatrax, which is jet ski racing. So they had 2 days of racing this year instead of just one. In previous years, Saturday was a practice day, and Sunday they had a race at 11 and a race at 1 o'clock. This year, there was some practice on Friday. They had 2 jet ski races on Saturday. They had a multi-category P1 race on Saturday, and then some practice later in the afternoon. They still did their boat parade through downtown Saturday evening. And then Sunday they had the final jet ski race in the morning, and then they had 3 or 4 races in the afternoon, basically from noon on, not quite on the hour, but almost. I believe they had around 48 boats. I tried to count them. I don't have an official number on that. There was quite a lot of people. Everything went reasonably well. There were some little changes since it's a different group and they had a bigger number and they had tweaked a few things. But overall, I think it went pretty well. They also were streaming it on YouTube. They had a space in the Dunescape Club, and I saw some of the YouTube footage, and I think that turned out pretty well. So overall, I think it went pretty well. We're going to have a like an after-action meeting, I believe, this coming Thursday with the Tourism Bureau to go over with everybody how it went. Related to some of our other projects, Edgewater expects to have the bid packets ready to go by the end of this month for the 200 dock project. They also expect to have the packets ready to go by the end of the month for the 800 dock electrical work. And with that, I think I'll entertain any questions.
Any questions for the Harbor Master? Sam, Mr. Johnson?
Tim, going back into the projects for the winter, and of course the winter's all gone, we're getting ready for the next one, which is right just around the corner. But would you have the opportunity to put painting the small barge and getting that all spruced up to meet the standards of the rest of our equipment?
That's on our list, and so is touching up the new one. We've managed to scuff it up a little bit, and it's showing some rust. So yeah, those will both get done this winter.
Okay, well, we have a pretty good system. Our vehicles are all white and so on and so forth. Another thing is, do you have any news for us on the lake water level?
It's holding steady. As of last Friday, the Corps said we were an inch lower than last month, and their prediction is that it'll go down 2 inches by this time next month. So over August, they're expecting us to lose 2 inches. All the rest for July, we did not go over, well, we may have day to day, but the monthly average for July for Lake Michigan did not go over the record for July. We stayed an inch below that. All the other Great Lakes are currently still over their record highs currently. But most, if not all, of the lakes have peaked at this point and are starting to decline like they normally do for the season, you know. So we're an inch or better below the record for August right now, and the daily numbers have been holding pretty steady. Yeah.
One last question. The landscaping at the new parking lot, the vendor has that for the first year. And we've already decided that we want to track that and discover what the cost of is. There's some specialty equipment over there, our plants. Has our staff been introduced to that stuff yet?
Not yet. No. That'll be coming up yet.
Oh, okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
I noticed, I think over the weekend, not only were there a ton more boats this year than in past years. I mean the whole parking lot this year was boats, and of course the concession stands that they had up on the lake. But there must have been 200 what I call classic cars over, just to the right as you come into the main parking lot. Well, right to the east, I guess. As I walked through there, it took me like 20 minutes, 30 minutes just to walk and kind of see every car. It went on and on and on. They had some really cool cars in there. So there were at least a couple hundred. So I know we've had cars before, but there seemed to be a ton more. It was really interesting. It looked like a great weekend in the park for anybody that enjoyed being outside. There was plenty of stuff to do. And I'm glad we didn't have any real big problems, other than obviously the little bridge problem that we had, but that looked good. Anybody else have any questions for Harbor Master? Okay. See if I had any others here. I guess I'll take this quick opportunity to talk about the celebrity we have on the board. His fishing escapades over the last week. It was in the paper. Mr. Messina caught quite a few perch over this last week, and I believe there was at one time you had three big perch on one line. Sounds like the perch are biting again this year.
We happened to find them. Probably took us longer to boat from where we started here to go all the way down to Burns Harbor than it did to catch them there and run back. But 30 was our limit, and to get 3 on one rod is quite unusual.
Yeah, it's quite an article too.
Yeah, nice article.
That's cool.
Mr. McKee wrote. Thank you.
Yeah. Moving on, Ms. Palicki, administration.
And the new customer listing report, we have 132 new customers this year. At the end of August last year, we had 125. And we are still getting calls for people looking for slips.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And there's also our occupancy review. It shows our open slips. And also the transient, the overnights that we had for this year and for last year, that we had 104 last year for the Grand Prix and 70 this year, 70 the nights that people stay, but it's because of the slips that we rent seasonally that we didn't have as many to rent out for overnights.
Yeah. Booked up, solid.
Yeah.
Wow.
And there were people that put reservations in before they left for next year.
Good. Oh, that's great. That's good. I noticed on the occupancy revenue statistic report, I'm even way down at the bottom, under Trail Creek and then under Spring Point, that things are really picking up. I mean, we've got much bigger numbers there than we've seen. Things are, we've got a lot of voters that enjoy going upstream too. So glad to see all of that. Anything else?
That's it.
Anybody have any questions? Bruce?
You say we have people that put in reservations for next year at this same time? do they put a deposit on that? Or
No.
in other words, they're not tied into that. They can back out anytime they want?
Well, they could, and then they'll contact us just a week or so, or 2 weeks before it, and they give us our credit card, and then we run it the day of their arrival, put in their packet.
I'm just afraid we'll lose, if you got a bunch of reservations and all of a sudden they don't want it anymore and other people did want it, you know, whether we lose that or not, it's,
Well, we know we were filled up this year.
Yeah,
How about last year? We had,
We filled up every year. I mean, we had to cancel people this year because we didn't have slips.
and even last year maybe?
Oh, we could write 100 more slips for that weekend.
okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
I just have one comment, again, of recognition on Mrs. Pilecki's report. The occupancy rate at the Washington Park, as of this date, 92%. I don't ever recall it being that high before, do you?
Oh, I remember when we used to have 100%.
Really?
Oh, yeah, before.
Since we expanded it up to over 600 slips?
Yeah, at the beginning.
Okay.
It's
Well,
been a
anyhow,
long time.
92% is really great.
It was 100%
And by
for
the
the
way,
weekend though, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
in those former years, there weren't near as many slips on the southern end of Lake Michigan as we have
Right,
now.
there were, the marinas weren't there.
So slip expansion has had an impact on us. And the other thing is Trail Creek is 93%.
Yeah,
It's just really tremendous.
yeah. Really,
Yeah. Thank you.
thank you, staff. Appreciate your hard work, all of it. Any other?
It could be just the opposite of what Mr. Manor was talking about, that if somebody wants to rent 532 slip, the same one they had this year, it may not be available to them, as we may rent it out to a seasonal person.
Right, for the overnight rentals, yeah.
Yeah, but
That's
that's probably one of the reasons why we don't take money a year in advance. Don't know. All right, anybody else? Mr. Garrett, budget, financial oversight.
All right, just going to touch on 8 items tonight in our docket for bills to be paid. If you look at the very top item for $6,364.44, this is credit our card member services, and that's for different supplies, repairs, parts, etc. Next one down is for $3,011.15. This is for trash removal. And if you go 4 down from there, for $2,896, this is for some supplies from NARS.
We have 2 cards.
One's a Menards card,
Card,
it's
yeah.
called Capital One.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
And then if you go about 10 down, for $6,300, this is Lake and Pond Biologist LLC, and this is for weed control for the water. And I think we did that 2 years ago?
Last year.
Or was it last year? Yeah.
Yeah, the year.
And the year before, yeah. And then the following item down for $2,399.68. This is shirts. And the following one for $2,031.75 is Midwest Security. And then our NIPSCO bill for $7,480.70. And then if you look below the actual total for $2,500, that's postage, and it's just on the machine, and it does that from, you said, about 3 times a year or so.
Yeah, and this is a new way that the State Board of Accounts
Wants to
wants the
see it.
city to handle it.
So that is that one. So if you take that, and then the final item is just for Edgewater Resources, which is so if you take those 8 items that I mentioned prior to that, including the Edgewater, or not including the Edgewater, sorry, it's sorry, it is including the Edgewater. It's just over $42,688.49. Those 8 items are almost 33,000 of that. So you're left with about $9,000 left over for the other 19 items on this list. So with that being said, if there are any other questions, I make a motion that we pay our bills as presented.
Motion to pay the bills, we have a second.
I'll second his motion.
Motion a second. Any questions on the bill payment? Bruce?
This isn't a question, it's just a comment. I'm talking to Mary Ann. I'd like to commend Mary Ann and her staff for this Lake and Pond Biologist LLC at $6,300. I thought that was a lot of money, and Mary Ann said absolutely not. Last year it was over $20,000.
Yep.
So basically, we're trying a new company, and we're going to see how that works out for us. But I'd like to commend you for that savings of money for us.
Excellent, thank you. I wasn't aware of what it cost before. I knew it was a high item. I thought we were able to do that every couple of years. Sounds like it's like every year now, maybe?
Just depends on the weeds, yeah.
Okay, any more questions? All right, let's have a vote. All those in favor of paying the bills as listed, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, let's pay our bills.
And that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Mr. Haynes, claims and insurance, anything going on?
I haven't heard anything, so must be okay.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Haynes? Okay, moving on. Port operations personnel and marina policy. Mr. Frame has talked about things that I know of that need to be brought up. Unless someone else has other questions, we'll move on.
I just have one comment and a comment of appreciation. One of our key office staff ladies with 12 years of service retired last week.
She did.
And I know that her replacement will do a stellar job, just as Rosemary did, but we'll miss Rosemary.
Yes. Yeah.
She did good work for us.
Yes. I got an opportunity since I was down here a little bit over the weekend to stop in and just briefly say hello to her and happy retirement. We'll miss her. I'll miss her. Good point. Anyone else? Mr. Messina, voter communication special events.
I believe our dock rep, the final one for this year is this Saturday at 10 o'clock. I may have to excuse myself, but I think I have a perch tournament I'm fishing in. So I will let Mr. Frame know that if or not, I will be able to be here. But, I know he'll cover it well if not. I have nothing else.
Yeah, always looking forward to those 3 times a year. Honestly, it's good feedback we get. Anything for Mr. Messina? Moving on. Mr. Manor, Master Planning, Special Projects, Park Liaison.
Well, I wasn't able to make the park board meeting, but I see Mr. Frame didn't have anything to say, so I guess everything's okay. So I don't have any information on that. On the bathhouse over at Trail Creek, we're moving forward with Edgewater, and I believe our attorney is working with Blue Chip to explain our plans with the water line that we will be tapping into. I don't know if you have met with them or not.
Not yet.
Not yet, okay. But that's part of our plans. We want to make sure we're all clear with that so we can tap into that line. So that's all I have right now on that.
Question from anyone? Comments? Mrs. Meir is not here. I'm sorry, I don't remember who the second person is for advertising public relations. If anyone has any comments or questions, does anybody from the staff have anything that needs to be said? Okay, I'm sure if there was something, she would have passed it on for us. Moving on, attorney's report, Mr. Zach Newman.
Yeah, on the small claims complaints, we got service on 3 of the individuals against whom we filed the complaints.
3 or 4, isn't it?
3 or 4. The 4th one, Blackwood, no longer resides at the address that we have, so we're trying to find another address. The initial hearing before the judge will be on the 13th of this month at 10 a.m. I will, of course, appear, and prior to the judge coming onto the bench, I'll see if I can negotiate some settlements and see what comes of that. We'll, of course, report back to the board if anything develops on that. If nothing happens on that front, then the court will just set a trial date. Generally, it's 4 to 6 weeks down the road. And if we go to trial, I would need someone from the staff to come and testify, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Joe, can you give the board the rough number as to the dollars involved in the small claims?
I think all told, if my memory serves me, it was something like between $4,000 and $6,000. I might have a document that has those numbers here, but that's what my memory is. A couple of them were over $2,000, and unfortunately I think Blackwood might have been one of the bigger ones. But I think of the 3 that we have, there was one big one and then one that was maybe around $1,000.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Okay, anything for Mr. Sackman? All right. Any new business to come before the board? Any new business to come before the board? Old business, just an update on a few things. Let's see. Bruce has talked about the bathhouse, an update. Tim has touched base on ESD and the 200 dock. He touched base on. So we might not have many questions on that. If you do, please speak up. But not hearing anything on those, I'll just ask about the pier lights. There was a question on the pier lights, and I put it back on the old business just for discussion. I don't know if there were more questions about it, if there was any more update that we had. Yes, sir.
Were they taken care of, or?
I believe so. The catwalk
I think it was
lights.
a timer that might have been
That was
bad.
it,
Or
yes.
Photo line.
Photo, okay.
So what's the on time now, Tim?
Dusk to like 1 or 2, 1 o'clock, I think.
1 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah.
Are there people out there at 1 o'clock in the morning?
Crazy fishermen.
Thank you.
Okay. I think we can scratch that. That's all I have. Mr. Freeze, excuse
Yeah,
me.
one thing, Jeremy reported that all the landscaping is done at Millennium Plaza.
Good. Anything else? Anything from Mr. Freeze?
No, not
John?
trees. A couple weeks ago, we talked about roofs on gazebos getting fixed. Did we get a price on that?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah. It's on our to-do list.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Don't hesitate to talk directly with the frame on that. Anything else from anyone? That will take a motion for adjournment.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second it.
We are adjourned. Next meeting is the 19th of August, which is 2 weeks from tonight. Thank you, everyone.